All right, so it looks like someone's been hitting the books, or should I say the articles. We had a whole pile of stuff about large language models from you. Someone's trying to become the ultimate LLM guru, I see.
I like it. Always good to have an expert around.
Well, get ready for a wild ride, because we're diving deep into the world of AI that can practically write like Shakespeare. Well, maybe not Shakespeare, but, definitely a catchy tweet or two.
Yeah, I think we're still a ways off from AI playwrights.
Right. But it's pretty amazing what these things can do. So basically, this deep dive is your LLM crash course. We'll break down some of the most popular types out there, what makes them special, what they can do, all that good stuff. Our source is really focused on the big names, which that's a good starting point for sure.
Absolutely. Even getting a handle on the basics can feel like a major step forward.
Definitely. So first things first. What exactly are large language models?
Good question.
Imagine like an AI that has just devoured every single book, article, Reddit thread, you name it.
Basically the entire internet.
Pretty much, yeah. And it learns how we humans use language, so deeply that it can write stories, translate languages, answer your questions. It's kind of like having a superpower writing buddy who never sleeps.
That's a pretty cool way to put it. And the real magic behind it is a combination of this thing called deep learning, which basically means feeding the model massive amounts of data and these things called transformer architectures.
Transformer architectures.
Yeah, they help the AI basically understand how words connect to each other in a sentence. It's like they've cracked the code of how we communicate,
Okay, starting to make sense. So let's get to some specifics. Our sources talked a lot about the GPT family, which is OpenAI's creation. They're like the rock stars of LLMs right now, wouldn't you say?
Definitely A-listers. GPT, which stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. It's gone through a few upgrades, GPT-2, GPT-3, and now GPT-4.
Each one is like smarter than the last.
Exactly. Each generation gets trained on even more data, so they just keep getting more and more powerful.
I remember reading about GPT-3, and I was just blown away. Like, it was translating languages, summarizing super complicated research papers, answering questions about things it wasn't even specifically trained on. It was like a super student or something.
Oh yeah, GPT-3 was a big deal. It really showed us what these models were capable of.
And it made you think about, like, all the possibilities, right? Personalized education, like AI tutors for everyone, and incredible creative tools, for writing and art and all sorts of things. We're really just getting started.
Absolutely, we're just scratching the surface. But GPT isn't the only game in town. Google's BERT model came up a lot in our sources too.
BERT? Okay, yeah, I remember that one. That's something about transformers again, right?
Yeah, BERT stands for bidirectional encoder representations from transformers, and it's got a slightly different approach. Think about reading a sentence. You get context from the words before and after the word you're focused on.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, that's what BERT does, unlike GPT, which kind of just reads things in one direction.
So BERT has like a more complete picture of the language.
Exactly. And that makes it super good at things like figuring out if a review is positive or negative. That's called sentiment analysis, and also named entity recognition, which is identifying things like people, companies, or places in a text.
Okay, I see. So like if I'm trying to analyze a bunch of tweets to see how people feel about a new product or something, I'd want to use BERT for that.
You got it. It's super powerful stuff. And it's already changing things like social media monitoring, market research, even how online ads are targeted to you.
Wow. Okay. So there were also some BERT spinoffs, right? Like Roberta and Distilbert.
You're on top of it. Yeah. Those are all about getting better and faster results. Roberta is like burnt after a training montage, fine-tuned for peak performance.
I like that.
And then Distilbert is like the lean, mean speed demon, perfect for when you need things to happen super fast.
Gotcha. All right. So another Google creation, T5. And this one, it sees everything as a translation problem. That's kind of an interesting way to think about it.
Right. T5 stands for text-to-text transfer transformer, and it basically approaches everything, every language task, as a translation problem. You need to summarize a huge report. Translation, switching from English to Spanish. Translation, solving a math problem written in plain English. Translation.
So instead of having a bunch of specialized models for each task, we have this one multi-tool that can do it all.
Exactly. That's what makes T5 so efficient and versatile.
Okay, cool. Switching gears from Google for a sec, there was a lot about Llama, which is Meta's contribution to the LLM world.
Yeah.
What makes this one stand out?
So Llama large language model Met AI is all about making these powerful tools accessible. It's open source, meaning anyone can use it and tinker with it for their own projects. And with Llama 2, they made it even more powerful and able to run on normal computers, not just those massive server farms.
So this is perfect for researchers and developers who don't have, Google-level resources.
Absolutely. It's really democratizing AI, putting powerful tools in the hands of students, startups, anyone with a great idea.
That's awesome. Okay, back to Google for a sec. There was one called LNT5. That sounds like it's trying to win every award possible.
Kind of. LNT5 is like T5's overachieving cousin, a fine-tuned version that's amazing at handling new challenges. It can understand complex instructions, hold a conversation, and even does really well in zero-shot or few-shot scenarios where it has almost no prior examples to work with.
So it's a super fast learner.
Exactly, and that's huge for things like the future of AI assistants and chatbots. Imagine a chatbot that just gets you, even if you've never really explained what you need.
Now, that would be amazing. All right, last but not least, our sources mentioned PaulM, also from Google, and Claude, which was developed by Anthropic. What's the deal with these two?
PaulM, or Pathways Language Model, is like the efficiency king. Google's Pathway system allows PaulM to do a bunch of different tasks without needing to be retrained for each one. Think of it as the master multitasker of AI.
Okay, interesting. And Claude.
Claude's all about safety. Anthropic is very focused on the responsible use of AI, and that's built into Claude's design. It's meant to be helpful, harmless, avoiding biases, and generating responses that align with human values.
So it's interesting. All these models are pushing the limits of what's possible, but in such different ways.
Right. It's like someone just handed us this incredible toolbox filled with language tools, and each one's perfect for a different job. And we're just starting to figure out what we can build.
That's a great way to put it. And that brings us to our final thought for you. As these models keep getting smarter and more powerful, how do you think they'll change how we communicate, how we create, and even how we think? It's something worth thinking of for sure.
Definitely something to ponder.